A lot of people today would say the Nintendo Wii was home to some of Nintendo's best games, Super Mario Galaxy, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, among many others. But in 2010, an upstart company called Feel Good brought to us Kirby's Epic Yarn, an interesting game with a simplistic gameplay but with a striking art style, pretty much made of, well, arts and crafts and yarn materials. Some people would say it was a hidden gem of the Wii collection, and on that success, in 2015, Feel Good had a spiritual successor with Yoshi's Woolly World on the Wii U. It was the Wii U, what can you say, and we all know how that worked out. But a lot of people say it was a definite high standard platformer, full of charm, creativity, great music, and a lot of functionality for amiibo for your wallets, and all that good stuff. And in 2017, we got a trailer for its actual successor, Yoshi's Crafted World. Instead of retreading old ground, Feel Good decided to up the ante for a bit, moving past yarn and instead opening up the toy box, well, or say the arts and crafts box, and just pulling out everything, whether it be cardboard, stones, paper, and everything else you can think of. They brought to us Yoshi's Crafted World, released 30 years later. A lot of people have mixed feelings about it, but after we have played it, we're here right now to give you our thoughts on Yoshi's Crafted World. My name's Lightning.
I'm Alice.
So let's get to it. Starting off with the plot, it's your basic Yoshi premise, in which case Yoshi games are not known for their stories, but the Yoshis are just hanging out, having a good time next to their stone of ultimate wish power. I feel like there's more questions to be asked here, but again, it's a Yoshi game, so story, not the best. Again, are all having a good time, in which Baby Bowser and Kamek are up to their no good trick and say, well, I want the stones because reasons.
I want to make wishes too.
Yeah, and that's basically Kamek and Bowser wreak havoc, and then the stones are whipped across the crafted world. And it's up to our Yoshi friends in order to get them back. Again, not the most stellar plot, Xenoblade Chronicles this is not, but still though, it's a nice setup for a pleasant story, and what a presentation it is.
I do think the moments between Yoshi's and Baby Bowser were kind of comical in their own sense.
Yeah, if there's one thing that the Feel Good has been, I guess you could say, are good at, they've been relatively good at putting on a simple premise, but also doing a bit of tongue-in-cheek humor every now and then. Where it be Kamek being passive-aggressive, I guess, can say to his boss, but either way, it's still funny, and when there's not good story, the humor is definitely there. First off, you'll notice the game just oozes charm and personality from every area, whether it be it's DIY, aesthetics, crafted, just literally anything you could think of. Feel Good has done it, and it even switches arts and crafts styles, you can say. It switches to origami, natural style, or just industrial, I guess, and I mess around with paint and a lot more than I can say. It's like if Pikmin met Woolly World and crossed eyes with Paper Mario. So, it looks good. And while the gameplay is not different from Woolly World, I say it takes a page out of Pikmin's book, in which case it keeps gameplay simple, but allows the environments to shine and pretty much be the center stage. And with the environments, this game doesn't just stick it to a 2D plane. This one moves to the foreground and background. And Basically, that's pretty much its selling point. Crafted World is it lets you go from the foreground to the background and vice versa, and not only that, you can get collectibles and hidden secrets in the background and the foreground as well, so it definitely makes you keep your eyes open.
But if you think of like Woolly World, and I think with the trailer of this game, they advertised the fact that you can flip the stage around. I was expecting that to be more of a common mechanic where you can explore more, but instead it's more of a gimmick where you can find Pucci pups or flowers.
Yeah, essentially Alice has a point. I did mention that, you can switch, you can go to the foreground and background, but that's only in selected and specific areas. It's not like you can flip a button and just change perspective, i.e. a Super Paper Mario. In fact, if I'll be honest, the changing planes is more or less a gimmick to finding collectibles. Unless it's specifically stated in a level pathway, you don't have to go from foreground to background.
Yeah, I was hoping it would aid more in progression instead of being, oh, you want a flower? Oh, let's turn the thing around.
And what Alice is mentioning is that as well as gameplay being the same, it also follows in the kin of typical Yoshi games anyway. There's flowers to get, hidden coins, and even bonuses for if you make it through with a good time, or even if you don't take damage. So, as far as game mechanics and gameplay loops, if you played Woolly World, you pretty much played that game. Another key element in Crafted World is new vehicle sections in which you can ride planes, trains, and automobiles. This sounds cool in theory, but in all honesty, they're actually photo scrollers with little to no interactivity, because you can either change if the plane goes up or plane goes down, and if you're on a train, you can pretty much do nothing. Which is kind of a shame, because especially since this is a Yoshi game, and transformations for Yoshis have been a staple in Yoshi games since Yoshi's Island back in the 90s, so it's a weird absence from this game. But don't get me wrong, some of the vehicle sections are really fun. You can ride a Go-Go Yoshi, in which is pretty much just like a rock'em sock'em robot Yoshi, or even something as simplistic as a solar-powered car in which you can pretty much play a la Mario Kart. But that's not to say everyone is a gem. Like I said, the train ones are pretty much an on-rail shooter because, on rails, what can you do? And the plane ones are clunky and don't really respond well to your inputs, especially since every vehicle section has to have collectibles in them, making it a chore. But enough of the key points. What are the levels actually like? Well, in all honesty, putting the arts and crafts creative aesthetic aside, the levels I find really aren't that creative.
Yeah, I feel like the background of the levels, they all feel similar, because like, I edit the videos, and the past 2 videos that I just did, the backgrounds are kind of the same. And I feel like if they'd done something like, I don't know, a sunset or a night sky, or maybe even put some rain in there, just change things up a bit.
Yeah, with the added perspective of the background being interactive, the backgrounds themselves are kind of bland and boring. Pretty much nothing is going on. Whereas compared to Woolly World, it was lively, there were a lot of things moving, and you can, even though it was meant to be based on wall, you could see life in there. And to be honest, the wider you make the canvas, and the more white space you have, and you can't make every single bit solid gold.
I mean, I have mentioned this before, but I theorize that maybe it's because they didn't want the background to be too distracting. But still, I feel like the color scheme of the backgrounds could have done a bit better, because it's just blues for the most part.
Yeah, so as far as color schemes are concerned, they're not really the most inventive. And with the level designs themselves, a lot of them have cool gimmicks. from time to time, where whoever it's doing drive-by egging with Monty moles, or running away from possessed demon dolls, or just something akin to Luigi's Mansion, and even something like a Woolly World sort of like reference stage. It does have charm in some levels, but the actual how each level flows, nothing really sticks out, unfortunately.
And I feel like we should have gotten more Pucci levels, because we only had about like 3 Pucci levels, and I think it would have been fun to have more levels in which we could just interact with the environment with Pucci.
Because Pucci has been a staple of Yoshi since the start, and I hate to do this again, but Woolly World had a lot. I'll just be honest, you're going to be hearing a lot in this review. Pucci was definitely limited and used sparingly. In fact, most of the time which you do see him is with Pucci levels, in which we'll get to right now. So, as we said, the levels are not that memorable, but it gets worse, unfortunately. It'd be okay if you could go through each level and be like, oh, you know what, that was nice, that was cool, except the game says no. The game has flip side levels, which are essentially you have to go through the level in reverse, and you gotta find Pucci's 3 missing pups. Where the mom is, we don't know, and the pups are loose. Pucci, do a better job as a parent, damn it. And just similar to collectibles, you can see him running around either in the foreground, the background, or even the foreground. And again, the level design doesn't really stick out. They do try and vary it up to be like different enemy placements, or different skylines, or different lightings, but still, it's the same level, and it really doesn't help its creativity, and it makes things more of a chore. But this is where things get even worse. If you feel like you could just go through the bog standard stage and then the flip side stage and be done with it, oh no. If you're completionists, you are going to learn to hate some stages, because if you want to get every single flower in the game, after you've done a world, a robot at the beginning of the world will ask you to go through the stage a few more times and look for various things in the level to hit with your eggs. And here's where my biggest bug with the game comes in, because this game is a collectathon, essentially a 2D collectathon. If you are wanting to get everything in the level at once, you are by nature going to hit everything in the stage that you can see, possibly even more than once if you miss something.
Especially if you're looking for flowers or red coins. It's like, oh, that random cow, what if it has a red coin behind it? I'll hit it.
Exactly, you don't know. But what this robot is asking you to do is to go back through the same stage numerous times to hit things you probably already hit in the stage during your first and second playthrough. And the only thing you get out of this is one flower.
And it gets even worse than that. Later on in the story, the robot's like, oh, can you find like my tiny little robots? There's like 150 of them spread across the world. Find all those robots.
Yeah, and this wouldn't be a problem if you could just get the list all at once and then knock it out in one go. Unfortunately, that's not the case. You have to do them one at a time. Equaling, you could possibly go through at the same stage 4 to 5 times. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, because we had to find the Pucci pups, we had to find the collectibles and find what the robot wants, and then find little hide-and-seek robots.
So, again, it makes things more of a chore. And again, I hate to do this, but Woolly World was less of a chore. If you were good enough, you could 100% a level in just simply one go, because you could find the hidden flowers, you could get the Miiverse stamps, and you can even get one of the 5 yarns in one go. You didn't have to go back for a stage unless you missed something. There was nothing stopping you from going back there. But unfortunately, this game, it wants to waste your time. It's padding.
And the robots continue to be annoying because before you go to a region, it's like, I'm out of energy, give me 30 flowers.
And this won't be a problem, but it happens so often because of how the level and worlds are spread out. And that's another thing. The worlds, to me, they aren't really cohesive. Because if you were going to say, oh, it's Nintendo, it's going to be like Grassland, Desertland, Iceland, and then Fireland, and then Final Boss Land. No, it's not. The worlds are spread out, and granted, you can go... It opens up so you can go to whatever world you want, but during endgame, it just goes off the rails. There's desert worlds during the end, but then and it flips to green stages. It's almost like a 5-year-old did level map out, and then they were in the desert, and then they were in the grass world, and then they were in the ice world, and then they were in dinosaur world, and then they were. It just keeps on going and just goes off the rails. You can't really get a flow because the game environments are all over the place and the level design is so all over the place. It just lacks cohesiveness, and to be honest, it kind of makes sense because if you were to look at the time difference between Epic Yarn and Wally World, that's a good 5 years of sole development time. Crafted World only had 2 years at most. So it kind of sees that a limited development time sort of had an impact on how big and how varied this game could be. But again, the complaints don't stop there, unfortunately. Because typically at the end of each Yoshi stage, you normally have like a goal ring in which you can get currency, money, flowers, and whatnot. But here, the bonus rings and stages and games are kind of absent. Which wouldn't be a problem, except during the aforementioned flipside stage, you don't get any coins going through the levels. You don't even get coins for completing any type of challenge through the flipside stages. Which brings me on to another key point on Crafted World. Throughout your adventure, you can get certain... I would assume you can call them costumes or jackets or armors or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But through the game, you can get various things in it can only be called a gachapon machine, and trust me, we have experience in those types of things. And in which you can get for coins. And if you want to get them all, this would again entail you to go through stages again to get more coins for the sake of grinding up money.
Yeah, because I think the amount of costumes is kind of silly. Like, you're just like 1 or 2 players and you've got like, I don't know, 50 costumes. I think maybe the coins could have been used for something better, like maybe a temporary bonus, like brief invincibility at the beginning of a stage, or immunity to lava, or infinite eggs, or another layer of hearts, or extra tongue or sticky tongue so you can pick up coins.
Like a, like Wally World? Because Wally World had that. Now, albeit, Wally World had a problem in which you could just pretty much like through the first 2 worlds you had enough money for literally anything, but now they've gone in a complete opposite direction and not giving you enough, so you're just stuck. So anything, but to be honest, the only thing they do is give you extra hits so you can take. But this is a Yoshi game, so I feel like the last thing that you're probably going to need is more of a shield than anything. But even so, some of the designs are not creative or just downright lazy. Being like, here's an example. Would you want a green car or a red car?
A blue bucket or a red bucket?
Yeah. And it's not just one instance, there are many of them throughout the world.
And even dried grass. You want to dried grass around yourself?
It's just really disappointing. But you don't have to spend all your coins in order to get those costumes. If you have ready amiibos, you can use them to get specific character designs to act as armor. But here's something that I don't understand. Woolly World had support for a lot of amiibos, and from different franchises, whether it was the F-Zero franchise, Xenoblade, Kid Icarus. You had amiibo usage for a lot of things. In Crafted World, it's only Mario, Luigi, Bowser, and Yoshi, and that to me is really lazy. The fact that you have these have this already done blueprint of what amiibos can look like, and yet you don't use it. And again, even going on to exclude Pokemon amiibos, which again I don't quite get. So, even amiibos has been diminished.
Instead, you're given amiibo box.
Yeah, which is just bland, if I'll be honest.
I think if they wanted to just give Mario exclusive amiibos, if you wanted to put like a Lucario amiibo on there, you could have gone, hey, 50 coins. Sorry we can't give you a Lucario box, but we can give you 50 coins.
Currency would have been nice, and you are absolutely right. And all that would not sort of be a problem if you had like a killer soundtrack to chill out to. And even this has diminished Crafted World because this soundtrack has a total of 20 songs. I give or take jingles and some exclusive soundtracks which are not present. This is a downside because not only is the soundtrack okay at best, it's there, it's atmospheric. Woolly World had more than double the soundtrack size and a lot more variety. Do you want a kick and rock track for a fire stage? You got it. Would you want a nice flighty stage for a relaxing fair stage? Or just something really happy and jumpy for a jump stage. Woolly World had that. Yoshi's Crafted World reuses a lot of music for, I'll be honest, kind of unfitting stages.
Yeah, like the song A Teeny Tiny Universe. It's played underwater and it's played in space.
Yeah, and I'm not a music composer by any stretch, but I don't think the ocean and space kind of give off the same vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So again, missed opportunity there. A lot of people like to say that Yoshi games are not known for their difficulty, and I would tend to agree with this one on the premise of the basic levels, and even like the extra stages in which you get bonus stages are kind of the same sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like at the very end of the game, you get extra levels, and they are definitely more difficult than the base levels, I think, but I think they could have been a little bit harder, and they probably could have given you more rewards. Like for instance, in one of them you could have found like a white Yoshi egg,
and that ties into another complaint that I have. Throughout pretty much every Yoshi's game's history, you could find bonus Yoshis to play as. The bog standard ones are the black and white Yoshis, in which you can find where doing extra challenges or find them in stages. Here though, throughout the entire base game, we've been given no incentive at all. And even the bog standard starting Yoshis are just the typical red, blue, orange, yellow, pink, and purple, and so on and so forth. At least in Woolly World, you had many freaking designs to work with. Hey, want a monkey Yoshi? Sure. Fire Yoshi, Water Yoshi, GameCube Yoshi, and N64 Yoshi. You had a ton of designs in Woolly World. Here, we played the game all the way through, and still had the same amount of Yoshis we had to begin with. It's not much more incentive to really look or go for anything. Co-op can always be something that diminishes these complaints, because nothing says fun more than playing with a friend. Unfortunately, even co-op has its drawbacks and its bugbears. Now, granted, a co-op can definitely be fun. However, in Yoshi's Crafty World in particular, it's like the level design varies from stage to stage. Some were definitely designed for multiplayer in mind, others were definitely thought was for single player, in tight spaces especially, because you constantly eat each other, you get on each other's back and hindering each other's aiming, even down to when you are separate. If one Yoshi moves like a couple steps to the right or left, they can screw up the other one's egg aiming. And as far as a co-op game goes, the concept that you can screw over your co-op partner by just moving a few steps, it's a bit weird and can lead to a lot of frustrations.
And I think if you accidentally eat your partner, you should be able to keep your eggs.
That's the thing, because if you eat your partner, you go without eggs, and they can suck them all up, leaving you with next to nothing. Meaning, if you are going to go after collectibles, only one of you can do it because you accidentally screwed the other one over. It can also make levels laughably easy, which you can boost jump off each other and get to places which you shouldn't go to, or completely skip parts of the stages entirely. It either makes things extremely difficult and frustrating, or definitely too easy. And they just feel tacked on. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they made the levels and you said, yeah, sure, multiplayer can come afterwards. Okay, now, I know that we've been negative all through pretty much the majority of this review, but still, this game has a lot of charm and it goes a long way. It, in my opinion, is worth the price of admission just to go through the game in one sitting and just experience all it has. If I were to give a tip to anyone playing this game, don't go for completely eating this game. Do not go for 100%. This game it doesn't offer enough to warrant 100% go through. It feels like a sightseeing tour. It's like going through a museum. You can wander and enjoy all the sights and sounds. But when you have to do it for a project or to learn literally everything about it, it's lost it pretty quickly around about the third or fourth time.
Mm-hmm.
This game is great to look at and it's great to experience, but it's not worth dedication to.
Yeah, it's just for a relaxing time. We don't want to worry about what's going on in the story or majorly difficult bosses or enemies.
Mm-hmm. This game, it sets out wanting to make you feel good. And, I'll be honest, it does that well. But I feel like it overstays its welcome a bit too much. After all that we've talked about and all the little albeit nitpicks we've had and personal preferences, I still enjoyed this game. I still enjoyed our ride. This is definitely a good experience to have.
It's colorful, and I love the textures, especially with the cardboard, because the cardboard looks real, like you could go out and touch it.
And that's what Feel Good is known for, especially since Wally World. They set the standards. This game just brings a smile to your face, and it succeeds in that. But again, it's only worth one trip. So, I feel that. Alice, your view?
It's cute, it's charming, it has a little bit of flaws, but I think it's probably about like an 8 out of 10 game.
I definitely would agree, but I will say, I'll say it with as a caveat. It's an 8 out of 10, but just go through it once. Experience it. Don't try to learn it. Essentially,
Just play it after you get off work, just relax to it. It'll be fine.
our summary. It's pretty much like its source material. Arts and crafts. It's meant to be a small fun time. And that's our review for Yoshi's Craft of Abductable, guys. If you liked it, if you didn't, let us know why. And if you agree or disagree, let us know below. Thanks for watching, everyone. And I'll see you next time on our next review, game, video, or whatever type of media we do. As always, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. This has been Lightning.
And Alice.
And again, we'll see you in another world.
Crafting a new adventure.